Right, hello, good morning, welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 23rd day of May, 2024. It's a very, 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 very special day. Well, our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making around here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Full KPMG report. SML deal requires parliamentary approval for contract enforceability. Looming ecological disasters. Scrap dealers dump waste into Odo River. Graphic National Dialogue Series on Health Tuesday. Supreme Court okays law on petroleum loans. The Ghanaian Times. Publish SML report. President directs $150 million additional funds for flood control. VP inaugurates advanced medical waste treatment plant in Upper West region. Children aged 6 to 14 to register for Ghana card beginning June 10. Daily Guide. Nana releases GRASML full report. Accra floods again. Ambulance case. Medical equipment stolen at port. Hobson Adoya arrested over dynamite claims. Impohor district tops all. The Insight. Falling CD. Economist blames IMF program for current crisis. Sam Jonah accuses current generation of failing the youth. Exhibit teamwork and integrity. Professor Kwaukume tells matriculants of FHUC nursing and midwifery. Food price hikes bite hard on households. Why Zionism is a catastrophe. The Daily Statesman. President releases GRASML report. Baumia opens medical waste plant. Two entities partner to revolutionize farming with integrated aquaponics. Nigerian jail 10 years for drug trafficking. The New Finder. SML closed 1.6 billion liters missing gap in GRA data compared to ESLA NPA lifting figures. But how much was lost in taxes not in KPMG report? Upon Nkrumah entices global real estate investors. Minister for Information appeals for media support on broadcasting bill. Water mismanagement, bane of agriculture in Ghana, Dr. Abu Sakara. Daily Post. My government will retrieve stolen monies, Mahama pledges. Atu forcing to file a motion to demand inquiry into security services recruitment since 2017. Our sponsor bill to prevent politicians from buying state assets, Ablakwa. Hobson Adoya arrested over his 2016 dynamite blasting claims in the Volta region. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning is the communications director of the NPP, Richard Ayagba. Richard, good morning.
Good morning.
Right. And also with me on the show this morning is the National Communications Officer of the NDC, the legal practitioner, Sami Jemfi. Sami, good morning.
Good morning.
Right. Yesterday, your friend was here. Bondana.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. What I'm wearing is coming from him.
Oh, okay.
He does very good suits.
Right. Okay. He came to see me yesterday.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's been a while. I hope you're doing well.
By the special grace of God, we're doing well. God has gifted us life and good health. So, although I've been struggling with a flu, I'm getting better.
We thank God. We thank God for that.
All right. So if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that will take care of the entire family and save you some money, the recommended family toothpaste is KL 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KL 360 toothpaste. KL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KL 360 toothpaste. KL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasu. Is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246-864-798. KL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging for all ages, but worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators in the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon or just call them on 0200-535-515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Okay. Richard, yesterday, I saw a photograph on social media. You and I saw, I think, ABBEY. Was he in a smock? And somebody else, and you were holding something like a voter card.
Voter ID card, yeah.
What was that picture about?
Oh, no, I think, well, good morning to you, to your viewers, Sammy, and let me say a good morning to the regional chairman of the Volta region, Kofi Makafui-Wanya, who was there with me, MPP regional chairman, ABBEY, Makafui Kofi-Wanya. And I think the regional secretary and the entire party with the PC, Petit Haliga. Generally, I went to the constituency. This dates back to 2023 when we were doing
Ketu South.
Ketu South, yeah, when we were doing the limited registration. So I checked just to make sure, because you know in 2020 there was some challenge, you know, where my name was in the system, but it was not on the register.
In the 2020 election?
2020 election. So even though I had done all the verification.
But when did you register?
I registered in 2020.
Same 2020?
2020. You know, the new register, everybody registered.
So you registered in the constituency?
In the constituency.
Okay.
So then did all the verification and all of that. Then when I went to vote, I didn't see my name. So then I think they had some quarantine data or whatever that they were looking at. And then they found my name there. And so during the limited registration, I wanted to fix that problem, just to be sure myself that my name was in there. And I went to the region, the regional EC boss. I went to his office just to conference with him before we start our monitoring for the limited registration. And I told him in 2020, this is what happened. I put my finger on the BVD and all of that, but I couldn't come up. So he should check for me if there is any problem or it has been fixed.
So what it means is that from the 2020 election, after you were allowed to vote,
right,
till the limited registration exercise, you had not contacted the EC to try and resolve it?
No, try and resolve it. So at that occasion where they are doing the limited registration, I wanted to see if there was any challenge so I can fix it at the time. And so he did it. He called his IT guy, they checked, and it wasn't, my name didn't come out. So then I was like, so this... Will that not be inappropriate? Yeah, which one?
No, I'm saying that if there's a limited registration exercise,
right,
how can a registered voter go and verify his details? Is that possible?
No. So I was just at the point of because I have a choice to either do an inclusion, right? So, but I wanted to be sure. I told him what happened because this is public knowledge. What happened?
So you wanted to register again?
No. I just wanted to be sure. Okay, because when I went to vote, it was a question of checking your biometrics to see if your name was in it. And so when it was checked, it didn't come up. But then they found my name in a list, which then allowed me to vote. So I wanted to be sure if the same thing will play out. Okay, and this was not behind closed doors, because whilst they were registering, I went down to the registration, the limited registration. It was happening at the regional office.
District office?
Regional office. They were registering there, yeah.
Who?
Yes. So he checked with the IT person, and he didn't return my name. So I asked him what were the options for me. So you can do inclusion down the line, you can do that.
What is inclusion?
So I think it's a process through which they would ascertain your name being in the register, and then they add it, because I had a voter's ID card at the time. So he said so. I said, okay, well, no problem.
So you had a voter's ID?
I still have a voter's ID card.
But your
except
name,
that it's not in the register.
And your biometrics
doesn't reflect.
But you have a card?
I have a card.
Okay.
You understand? To the police station I've been voting for since I was.
So the day you went to vote in 2020, you showed your card.
Yes. I brought my card.
But your details
They just
could
couldn't
not
find
be,
it.
your,
Yeah.
your biometrics could not be found.
No, could not be found.
Okay.
So then I went from Ho. I went to the Ketu South Municipal Assembly where the registration was
So
happening.
the issue was not resolved at home.
No. So they only just confirmed what obtained.
They confirmed that
Yeah.
your details and your biometrics are not
in the system, even though you are holding a card. So I went to.
That's strange.
Yes, you understand. So I went to Ketu South.
But what did they advise you when they
So-
found that out? What did they advise
so
you? to
one
do?
of two things: either an inclusion or you re-register.
When is
because
it inclusion? What does it mean?
there's their process of where they can add your name to. I think there's a quarantine list somewhere they can look through and see if your name is there, then bring you to the main register.
Okay.
On the basis of you having a registered ID card on that basis. So those were the two options that were given to me. So I went to.
What was the second option?
The second option is just to register because you are not in the system.
To register again?
Yes.
Although you are holding a valid voter ID card?
But then what ascertains that you're in the register says that you are not in the register.
Yeah, but
So in other words-
the EC confirms that the card you're holding is a legitimate card.
Right,
It's a card issued by them.
right,
But they can't find you in the system.
right.
Which then is no fault of yours.
Right.
Why would they want you to re-register?
Well, it's an opportunity. You can do that or do an inclusion. That was the advice
That's
given.
what, the advice given to you
Yeah.
by the regional
Yeah,
officers.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I went to the constituency, the districts then also checked and they reversed to me again the same advice to do an inclusion. This was in 2023. So I booked an appointment with a district electoral officer to do the inclusion. And then I showed up, I think I came back to Accra, and then showed up for that inclusion. When I got there, I think he was not there. I mean,
So the inclusion was to be made in Accra?
No, at the district.
In 2023?
In 2023.
Okay.
So I got there, but then he wasn't available per the appointment we
The
had.
district officer?
Yeah, was not available. So I came back. I didn't go ahead to register or do anything in 2023. So now in 2024.
So what were you going to do in 2023? To register anew or to go?
To do the inclusion which was advised.
Okay.
And then the appointment was not kept by the officer, so I came back. So now in 2024, the last window perhaps before, the election, I went and one of the two options was available. So they again checked that you're in the system. The name didn't show that you were in the system. So they carried on with the registration afresh.
So they registered you as a new
voter. Yes. So took your information from scratch and everything. And then you went through to put your finger on the thing, which would have shown if you were registering twice, it would have come up that you're already in the system, but it didn't come up. And so I went through the process. Now, incidentally, it's the same place. Okay, the same place. So not a different place, the same registration center. So we went through the registration. Then a young man, supposedly my own sister's son, showed up. Your nephew showed up that he's challenging me for not being a resident of the constituency. I'm not sure what he came up with that.
Was that his reason?
Yeah, that was his reason. That was what he cited.
Not that you didn't qualify to register in the limited exercise?
No. He says that I was not a resident of the place, which I didn't understand.
But you hail from the place?
Yes. So that was the basis. Apparently, so, they said, well, it's the process. So I went. Because in my view, it's a disruptive challenge. But then they felt that, the EC people felt that it was valid, and so they allowed it. And so yesterday we went for the hearing, and I didn't have to say a word. They just asked him a question that he answered, and that solves the problem.
So confirm this for me. The challenge against your registration had to do with the fact that you are not a resident.
That was a challenge.
Ordinarily.
Yeah, you are not directly resident there.
Yeah.
And that was what was determined yesterday.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the fact that you voted in 2020. And therefore you are already a registered voter. So you didn't qualify to register in the limited registration?
No, it was
That wasn't the issue.
wasn't a challenge. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's happened to your old ID?
My old is no longer valid.
No, what happened? Did the EC take it from you?
So I only have electronic copy of it. I have electronic.
But you have the card.
Yes, yes, yes.
The EC, the EC didn't ask for it. They've not taken it back. They didn't request for it.
No, they didn't. They didn't request for it. But that would not be.
But they didn't give you any explanation as to why you registered. They did all the entries. They took your biometrics, and yet both your name and your biometrics did not appear.
Maybe I have to find out, but there's no explanation that I've been given to that effect.
All right. So the issue is solved.
The issue is solved. Yes. Okay. And then you see, so I just wanted to create the impression was created. It was registered twice, and you know, imputing.
No, because I when I heard it, I found it a bit odd.
Yeah.
That for a person who voted in 2020,
why
would a person go and register in a limited exercise? Because it is not for, it's for new
people,
first-time registrants.
But you know,
and you are not, so why would you go and register?
So, but seriously, the thing about it is that somebody in my standing, what would I be doing to try to, you know...
That may be in 2020 you weren't qualified to vote. And you use your political connections to vote. So you're trying to now legitimize it.
Oh, no. If that's what I'm doing, well, fine. But I'm saying that the perception of it is going extreme to impugn certain motives. It was just completely unreasonable.
Yeah, because from the EC's point of view, I would have expected the EC to perhaps find a different vehicle. For example, the vehicle of inclusion. That the EC, that the EC should have told you that, look, in your case, the limited registration exercise is for first-time registrants. We see your case, you are holding our card, your card is legitimate, which means that your omission from the database is no fault of yours. And so, as a commission, we will use this process to rectify it, but not to ask you to be part of first-time registrants.
Now, you see, so that's what I just told you, that, you know, in 2023, that opportunity was made available. I presented myself to take it, except the district officer was not available when I went to his office to do that inclusion. You understand? And so, for me as a voter, I'm concerned. He doesn't have a responsibility to my exercise of my franchise. I have that responsibility to make sure I am on the register, so I don't encounter any challenge.
But he has a responsibility
to put me on there,
to rectify it, especially when you made yourself available. You went through the process, and from your account, it is their doing and not your doing.
Yes, of course. And so, but then I find it my primary responsibility, whatever the challenge is, to be on the register. So I'm taking the steps legitimate to be able to be on there. So when the opportunity for inclusion was given to me, I drove from Accra to his office in Ketu South to do it, except he was not there. You understand? I called several times, he was not there. Then I had to come back, knowing that there's this window that will open. But now that it's open, I don't want to fall out of it. I just want to make sure my name is on the register. So if they had presented inclusion as the primary option, I'm ready to take it. If they said registration, I'll take it, because for me, the understanding is that I want to be on the register, not to be on there multiple times, but just to be on there so I can vote. And I've heard that narrative being pushed, especially by my brothers in Ketu South, so I registered two times, multiple registration, all of that. And to what effect? You know, that I vote multiple times at the same polling station. I mean, so I didn't get it. The enterprise was essentially just to get me on there so I can vote as a citizen on December 7th. And that has been achieved.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm sure you've been following this issue.
Yeah. It's a very serious matter. Very, very serious matter. Because, Doc, it borders on the commission of a crime. That is why it's a serious matter.
Which one is the crime?
And you see, it doesn't only border on the commission of a crime, it borders on a confession by Richard Ahiagba that he has committed a crime. Yes, that is what he has just done.
How?
I don't know who has been advising him, because, like he said, per his stature, I would have expected him to have conducted himself to have conducted himself lawfully in this matter.
How?
Because when you are at this level, the expectation is that you should know the basic rudiments of our electoral process. Doc, voter registration in Ghana is governed by law. Voter registration in Ghana is governed by law. You cannot engage in registration and voting per your own whims and caprices. You must do so in accordance with law. Now, from what I gather from the circumstances of this case, clearly Richard Ahiagba is eligible to be registered as a voter in the Ketu South constituency because he's a resident of the area. He may not be ordinarily resident. I think he's ordinarily resident in Accra, but he hails from the place and therefore has a residence in the place. So for me, I have no issue with him registering there. The issue is that he himself has confessed to voting in the 2020 elections, both the presidential and the parliamentary, when his name was not in the voter register. He himself, he says that he turned up at the polling station to vote on 7 December 2020. But that his name was not in the register.
It didn't be found.
It means it was not there.
Yeah, but he had
no.
Just hold on a minute. He says that he had his voter ID card.
I know, he said that.
Which clearly states where and whatever. He
to
presented
vote,
it.
You don't need a voter ID card to vote in Ghana.
He says that he presented it. The EC looked through, they couldn't find his name. They did the biometrics. It didn't come up.
Yes.
But they had some list somewhere, quarantine.
There's nothing called a quarantine list in an electoral process.
And they allowed him to
That's
vote.
a cock and bull story. There is nothing called a quarantine list anywhere. Doc, this is the point. In Ghana, you cannot vote in any public elections unless your name is in the voter register.
So even if you've lost your card, but your name can be found.
Found in the register, you can vote. So the primary condition that establishes your eligibility to vote is not even the voter's ID card. Because you can lose your voter ID card. But if your name is in the register, whether you have a card or not, the law says you can vote. If your name is not in the register, you can't vote. Our brother here went to the polling station. He has confessed that they searched for his name. His name was not in the register. His biometrics had not been captured. Therefore, he was not entitled to vote. He was not a registered voter. I am not making this up. The law is clear. What is the law that governs voting in Ghana? CI 127. Public Elections Regulation 2020 is the latest law on voting in Ghana. And if you check Regulation 32 of CI 127, this is what it says. Regulation 32. It says that identification and verification of voters. 32.1. A polling assistant may, before delivering a ballot paper to a person who is to vote at the election, require that person to produce a voter identification card in order, in order to establish that the person is the registered voter whose name and voter identification number and particulars appear in the register. So they ask you for your card to check if you are the one who has showed up and that your name and voter identification number is in the register. The sub-regulation 2 says, in the absence of a voter identification card, the polling assistant shall identify the name and particulars of the voter as recorded in the name reference list. So it goes on and on to tell you what the polling assistant can do after that. If your name is not in the register, there is no remedy for you. It means your card cannot be authenticated. It is useless. and therefore you are not entitled to vote. Now, Regulation 33 further says that a voter who desires to vote shall be present at the allotted station, and the presiding officer or polling assistant shall, after being satisfied that the voter is registered and has not already voted or is voting as a proxy, deliver the ballot paper to the voter. Is registered. So clearly you were not registered in 2020. That is why a new, fresh registration has been done for you. You were not registered. If you were registered in 2020, a new registration would not have been done for you. Doc, you understand? You were not registered, and that is why your name was not in the register. And I have the register for the polling station where you voted. Do you know what they actually did? It's the impunity is what makes me sick. Mm-hmm. They actually wrote his name in ink in the register. I'm going to forward this to your producer.
That was on the voting day.
On the voting day?
Yes, because they couldn't find it.
Because his name was not in the register. It's as simple as that. They wrote it in ink. What would be that? In which country? Tell me. In which country can you go to a voting center to vote? Your name is not in the register. The law says if your name is not in the register, you can't vote. And they write your name in ink to allow you to vote. That's the height of criminality, the height of impunity. So what happened in 2020 was a crime. And Mr. Hyagba has confessed to committing that crime. Because he himself says that he went and his name was not in the register. The EC has checked their database. His details are not in their database. So why did he vote in 2020?
But if from his point of view, he went to register. Mm-hmm. He was issued a card. Mm-hmm. On voting day, he went with his card. Mm. For one reason or the other, his name and biometrics could not be found. Mm-hmm. He believed that he had gone through the constitutional requirement to be on the roll. It wasn't his fault that he was there. The EC, which was responsible for the elections, decided that, well, they could make him vote. They could allow him to vote. How does he commit a crime?
If somebody abets you or assists you to commit a crime, it doesn't exculpate you from liability. The person only becomes an abettor. It doesn't mean that the crime has not been committed.
So how did he
and the person who is punishable under the law.
How did he
also, hold on. There are many ways that people get cards in this country. So number one, the fact that Richie says that he had a card doesn't necessarily mean that he acquired a card through legitimate means. To make that conclusion, you are making an assumption. Anybody, right? No, you see, first of all, let's forget the fact that he's our friend. Yes. Because this is a serious platform and we must interrogate the issues in good conscience with a sense of objectivity. This is a man who says, I had a voter's ID
to reach
card.
The EC. I want the EC to explain.
Hold on. Let's go step by step. He says, I had a voter's ID card.
Yes.
But my name was not in the register. And my biometrics are not in the database. I'm saying that number one, we can't say for sure whether that card he claims that he had was authentic. Number one, legitimate question. You can say conclusively
that by the law, even if he had registered and his name was not found, he was not eligible to vote, and he shouldn't have voted.
I'm going there. So the first thing is that the card he claims to have, we sitting here can't conclude that it was an authentic card. Number one. Number two, if you registered, assuming that he registered legitimately and was given a card, but his name on voting day was not in the register, he bears the responsibility, not the EC. The reason is that when you go to a voting center to register, that is not the end of the registration process. After the registration is done, the data is compiled as a provisional data of registered voters. It is then exhibited for voters to go and check if their details have been rightly captured.
Richard, did you do the verification?
I did a verification via the code. You know, but in 2020 they had this code verification.
That you could.
So
you did. Listen, and when you did, you checked out.
Let me go. Okay. So you go for voter exhibition to check if your details have been captured. If upon exhibition your details have been captured, it is published as a final register. It is certified by a judge. After that, nobody, not even the chairperson of the EC, can add a full stop to the register.
True.
When it has been certified by a judge.
True.
So you going to a polling station for your name to be written for you in ink to register.
To vote.
What do you think about that? Yeah. And you come and sit on TV and you call people who you call out people for breaching the law. When you went to a polling station,
yeah,
and your name was not in the register, you have said it here that your name was not in the register. Your details could not be found. But it's semantics. If your name could not be found, it was not there. And that is why it has been written in ink. It is here. You can't deny it. If you deny it, we'll project it on the screen. So you voted illegally. And the law that governs such acts is Section 29 of the Representation of the People's Law, PNDC Law 284. Section 29, PNDC Law 284, was passed in 1992. It says that a person who knowingly votes at an election at which that person is not entitled to vote commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 500 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 2 years, or both the fine and imprisonment, and is disqualified for a period of 5 years from the date of the expiration of the term of imprisonment from being registered as a voter or voting at an election. So you know what I told some friends of mine in Ketusa? What they should have done under the law was to have reported Richie to the police, because he has committed a crime per his own confession. And if prosecution goes on and he is convicted and punished, he will be banned for 5 years. He can't vote in Ghana because he voted when he was not entitled to vote. Why was he not entitled to vote? It is not because he didn't register as he claimed. That I cannot ascertain. It may be true that he registered. It may not be true. But the main thing is that he has confessed. He has admitted, conceded that his name was not in the register. And at least we also have evidence that his name was not in the register, because we have the register here. His name was inserted in ink on election day. Totally unheard of. And again, the EC has finally settled that by making him register afresh. Register as a new voter, meaning that his name has never been in the register. How did he vote in 2020? How can anybody justify this? He should be sounding remorseful. He should be sounding remorseful. I tell you, this cannot be justified in any court of competent jurisdiction. I feel for him. He's a good friend and brother, good gentleman, but the law is the law. The law is the law.
So Edwiji Tamako, the lawyer, he sent me something. I need to read it so that in speaking to you, can speak to it as well. It says there's nothing like quarantine list under CI 127. The person who challenged the registration of Richard Ahiagba was given 21st May 2024 for the hearing of the District Registration Review Committee. On the 21st of May, Mr. Richard Ahiagba refused to come before the hearing. He only went there yesterday without any prior notice to the person who challenged him. The EC appears complicit in this blatant illegal action. And it ends by saying Regulation 32 allows for biometric and manual verification of a voter who is duly registered and on the register.
Okay, so I think I saw this same post, the statement Edwiji just brought about my appearance at the review committee.
You went there yesterday?
I went there yesterday.
22nd?
Yes.
Okay.
I was not aware of 21st at all.
You weren't?
No. My assistant in the constituency called me. I think this was around 11:12 to ask if I was on my way.
When?
Yeah, on the 21st.
Which was
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday?
Yes. Because he lives in the constituency, yes.
To ask you if you're on your way?
Yes.
Where?
To the if I was coming.
Okay.
To the review.
Okay.
And I said no. They indicated 25th. I was because on the day they didn't give me any paper or anything. So I think on the day I was hearing 25th. So I was not aware of any review on Tuesday. So it was upon his prompting that I called, and then they said, well, it's a process, right? It's not just that one day, but then they will do it 22nd, and it carries on. So if I could be available on the 22nd, then they would hear my case, and so that's it. And I went there simply just to listen to what they have to say. In fact, the point Edwige is making, and I think my MP, Honorable Ablaji Fagomashi, made the same point on her Facebook page. The guy who challenged me was there. He came, he was there. So it's not as if he wasn't aware. I wasn't aware it was supposed to be on Tuesday, so I found out, and it was scheduled for that Wednesday. So I went to fully represent myself. If I didn't go there, then she can impugn that certain things have been. But I drove from Accra purposely to go and do that. When I didn't know it was on Tuesday, now it's on Wednesday, I went. So he lives in Aflao, so between me and him, who could be disadvantaged about notification and who could be readily available, comparing the distance between us to the center. So that's really not the point. But you see, I hear Sabi, and I'm amazed how he's seeking here to be reading things from books and all of that. The idea I want to establish for him is that I made a decision consciously to rectify a problem. And in fact, this is not an issue that is local to me. And I just don't want to go into that. There are instances where I've heard people, since when I came to learn about this, there are other people who have that similar situations. But I am just determined to get my name on to fix a problem. Right? And if you are talking about the intent and all of these, somebody who goes to misrepresent himself to do, that's criminal. I am registered duly. I have my ID card. I've gone through the processes, what I have to do to make sure as a citizen I'm on the voter. There is no doubt about my citizenship. I've took the legitimate steps to be on the register. So what are you talking about? I have invested time. I took my entire family to go there and register in 2020 for everybody to be on the voters roll so we can vote. And you sit here, you are talking, I say, you're just
referring to the law.
Yeah, but I agree.
The CI, Richard, 1 minute. The CI is clear.
Yeah.
That when it comes to verification, it can be both biometric
and manual.
But first of all, your name must be on the roll, the register. Then if your name is on the roll, but you are unable to be verified biometrically, they can then do the manual verification and you are good to go. In the case that you have told, you've narrated to us, your name was not found in the register, which means that you cannot even...
it was printed in ink. I've given it to you.
No, his name was not found in the register. Yeah. So you could not even be manually verified. Because to even take opportunity of manual verification, your name should first of all be on the register. Then if they move to the next step of biometric, and your biometrics cannot be authenticated, then the law allows for a manual verification. In your case, your name was not found on the register at all. But so how then would the Electoral Commission allow you to move to the next phase, which is a manual verification?
Which was, that was a verification done. And you see...
Now the point that is being made is that the law that governs the process
that verification
does not
was
support what was done in your case.
No, that verification was done.
No, that verification can only be done by the CI.
Yeah, I'm just saying that
the verification, the manual verification, can only be done if first of all your name is found in the register. So the name must be in the register. Then you move to the second stage, which is a biometric verification. If the biometrics don't work, then there can be a manual verification.
I'm just saying to you that verification was done. The challenges with the whole process, I think that others can explain, but for me, as a legitimate voter, But the point I'm trying to make to you is that at the point I arrived at the police station to vote, I had taken every step to be on that register. So the person who bears the responsibility to ensure, having done my part, my name is on, was approached, and then they did their search and then returned to the presiding officer there, having done their search to say that you are qualified to vote because I have the card. You understand? So I'm just saying that...
Just for the benefit of our viewers, if they did a search, where would they do the search from? Because the database is what has been put in the register. Yeah. So what is in the register.
Well,
it's actually the database which was exhibited and which was signed off.
Right. What I'm
so if your name was not there, where did they find the name?
That's a question I cannot answer.
Okay.
But what the point I want to reiterate is that whatever you have to do to be on the register, I did. Okay? So on the day, my question was that, why is it that I can't find, yes. And then the process was undertaken, back and forth, and then the conclusion was reached. A permission was given that I vote, because I feel that if I was disenfranchised that at the time, just having done everything else to be on the register, somebody was going to have to answer for it, because it's a responsibility of the EC to get that done, and then they took the responsibility.
So maybe that should have happened rather than you going ahead to vote.
No, I didn't. What I'm saying is that I didn't force myself to vote. You understand? I was allowed to vote. So I'm not really sure what the argument is.
So let me just add this. Is Akogan one of your deputies?
Yeah, one of them.
Okay. He says, I just left the Whole West District Office, and 128 people who registered in Whole West last year could not find their names during the voters exhibition exercise. I asked the district elections director, what happens then? These were her answers. 1, we must go and find them to re-register. That's 1. 2, they cannot vote if they come on the 7th of December. Then he concludes by saying that Richard has done the re-registration, which is fine, but voting without his name in the register is criminal. Well, that's his conclusion.
I will say no more on this because I'm biased in favor of my co-panelist, who I always appear on this platform with. But my candid advice to him, as a lawyer, is that he should just apologize for, until this, he had not come up in any public matter before, or any scandal, anything having to do with alleged criminality. This is, Richard, if you don't take care, this becomes an albatross on your neck. This is not tidy. Look at what is on the screen. Look. This is
that my handwriting?
No, it's not. Whether it's your handwriting or not. Look. This is not good. This is how his name was written in the register.
The only person whose name is written.
Only person.
Okay.
Because so when he goes there. Yesterday, didn't you see him at the EC office? He went there in Rambo style. The lot of bravado with police vehicles. No. Police vehicles, sirens, following him.
He walks without.
No. So I was surprised yesterday. Rich, even when he comes here, very simple. He doesn't even use a bodyguard. But yesterday he went there with pickups full of policemen, and
he went to bully people.
It's not true.
Rich, you yourself.
My MP, just 1 second on that point. My MP took the picture of that and put on a Facebook. It's not true.
Of what?
But
a picture of vehicle by
Tundra vehicles with police officers.
Are you suggesting that she manufactured the pictures in the she manufactured the vehicles in the pictures?
I only went in my car with my driver.
So those who followed you were not those
follow backs.
That was people who were there. And then
your MP is my big sister.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah. You see, just wait to Agape. So there were people who were there, and incidentally, when they were showing the picture, you saw a national organizer. He was there.
Yeah, I saw the one with him. Exactly. But I didn't see vehicles. I saw the one where you were holding a card.
Yes. So
he was in like a fugu or something.
Yeah. I think it's a vest I was wearing on.
Okay.
So and then he was there. The regional chairman was there. The regional secretary was there. But they were not there on my account necessarily. They are doing monitoring. Hey. So when I got to Ketu South, they were
director of comms is a big position.
Oh no.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, the impression he created.
I'm just saying. If I went somewhere today, and there were Metro TV staff at the place. Once they see me, they all come. They all come and want to usher me.
I say that's because you're a big man.
No. So I'm saying even in my small office. So can you imagine?
When I say you're a big man, I say in your small office.
Clearly, I'm biased on this issue in favor of Richard. But I just want him. You see, an apology cannot remedy an offense.
You want him to apologize for
okay?
what?
An apology cannot remedy an offense. Okay, but you
Should
see,
our focus not be on the EC?
No, hold on. No, not at all.
Okay.
If somebody has to be prosecuted in this, those electoral officers who assisted him will only be his abettors who aided him.
But the law is clear.
Yes.
That if somebody's name is not in the register, the person cannot vote.
Yes.
So why?
But if you look at the offense creating
yes.
statute,
yes.
it says that a person who votes in an election when he is not entitled.
Yes.
So it is a person, in this case Richard, who will be prosecuted.
Even though he believes he's entitled.
It's not what after he believes he's not a thief. You see, it's not about what you believe or you don't believe.
Is it this whole thing
Rich, let me just conclude. Yes. Let's not drag this. It's not in your interest that we drag this. Look,
that's what
the point I'm making is that, look, an offense has been committed. Yes. You are not in the habit of that. Even in courts, when people offend the law, the lawyers will come and say, this is a first offender. So we are pleading to make sure that the court is magnanimous, even in exacting punishment and all that.
Right.
And so just say that, oh, maybe I didn't know, even though ignorance of the law is no excuse. But this, that. I think that with hindsight, I could have done the right thing. And you calm down nerves and all that. Okay, but if you come and you say, I think people were just being disruptive and Sami Jefi, this, that. You see, then you force us to go by the law. And if we go by the law, you know that this is not going to be in your interest. So I'm just offering a candid advice. I'm not going to push further.
Nobody like the person you use the fake ID card.
I was being charitable by saying I don't know whether it was fake.
I'll give you a copy of it. The same details.
Charitable.
The same details. The same police station I've been voting at since I was a boy.
Sure. But you see, Doc, let's settle this.
But is it?
No, let me just conclude in 1 minute so that you come in. I just don't want us to encourage a culture where those of us who appear on TV and people whose party are in office, big men like Richard, are treated differently from the ordinary citizens of this country. Because, Doc, on election day, as an ordinary citizen, you can't go to any polling station. They will check your name is not in the register. And then you say,
obviously, if
my name should be written
Richard was not
who is
the Richard that he had, but there was no
way they were going to do that. So that is the problem. And you
at
see,
the time,
those people may think, those EC officers may think that, oh, this is boss. Let's do something for Sukulafia. But they may not know that they are putting the man in trouble. Because this thing, if we all don't help our brother, one day, who knows? If the state decides to pick up this matter, it may become a different matter. So I think that, Richard, you're a gentleman. Just look at this in good conscience. Apologize. The lawyers will say, purge yourself. Start purging yourself. So that if anything at all, it goes to mitigate. It goes to mitigate the punishment. Let's move on.
Let's talk about other things. But the truth of the matter is, I don't really get what Sabi is talking about. But let's leave it at that. Okay. Let's leave it at that.
All right. Let's take a break. When we return, SMEL, SML. What are the alphabets? KPMG, GRA. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have Richard Ayagba and Sami Jefi. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God and Mola got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now, pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on the website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoko, that could somewhat be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control of every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. This is not for persons under 18 and is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. Okay. Now, the Fourth Estate released an investigative piece about the GRA and SML. And there were some damning revelations that were made by them. The president referred or appointed KPMG, a reputable audit firm, to look into those issues. The KPMG presented its report to the president. The president issued a statement and told us about some findings and some recommendations by KPMG. And on the basis of that, he accepted it and also issued directives. Now, the Fourth Estate and other civil society organizations, and of course, many people in the media and of course in the Ghanaian space, then requested for the full report. In fact, the Media Foundation for West Africa invoked the RTI Act and requested for the full report. The presidency wrote to them and said that it was part of the exempt documents as far as the RTI Act was concerned, and therefore it could not release it to them. And Media Foundation for West Africa disagreed with the presidency, and we spoke with Suleiman Ibrahima here on this show. And they then filed an appeal with the RTI Commission because they disagreed with the position of the presidency. And of course, we also read other opinions on that disagreeing with the position of the presidency. Well, yesterday, we had another release from the presidency to the effect that President Akufo-Addo has released the KPMG audit report on the controversial contract between the GRA and Strategic Mobilization Limited, SML. This release follows weeks of pressure from Ghanaians, including civil society organizations, who demanded that a full report be made public due to numerous infractions in the contract. And so that's basically it. Well, so the report has been released and we have seen the report. Sammy, let me start off with you. I mean, have you read the report?
Okay, so...
have you?
I have gone through it.
Yes.
I have not read the entire over 300 pages. But yesterday after NDC 360, when I go home late night, very tired, I still took time.
What was NDC 360?
Oh, the NDC 360 show we host every Wednesday at 8 p.m. is a platform that the party has come up with to share our policies, the vision of His Excellency Mahama and the party, and also happenings in our country with the people of this country so that they can make an informed choice. Come 7 December 2024.
When did you start it?
We started it 3 weeks ago. Yesterday was the third edition.
So it's 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
every
on
Wednesday.
It is
Where is
streamed,
it broadcast?
it is streamed live on 5 TV stations. Unmia TV, Angel TV, Wezo TV, Loud Silence TV, and TVXYZ. It is repeated on Fridays on Adom TV. They will start this week. It is also repeated on Kesbin TV 8 to 10, and the other stations also repeat that. We put out the details on our Facebook and Twitter pages. We also stream live on social media. So far, it's been impactful. We've been speaking on a lot of issues under our corruption tracker series, the NDC and youth segment, trying to educate Ghanaians, make this campaign about issues, facts, figures, so that people of this country can make an informed choice. And in fact, I'll be, some of the issues we've been discussing there are linked to this issue of SML, and I'll be making reference to that. So I've gone through, I've not studied it in good detail, but I have a fair idea of some of the things in there.
With what you have read, was all the, I don't want to say noise, but what was all the agitation about the release of a full report worthwhile?
It was worthwhile because, Doc, this report...
I asked that question because the presidency says that we have published the key findings plus the recommendations, and we have directed. What is essential in the document is what we have provided. And that's the basis of my question.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the president was very economical with the truth when he stated that what is in the report is what he published. Because what is in the report is worse than what was published. What was published by the president was an edited, watered down report. Most of the damning findings in the report were watered down in the publication that the presidency put out. And I'll be drawing your attention to some of them. But you see, even before I get there, we need to condemn the undue delay in the release of this full report by the president. I think for me that should be the starting point. If President Akufo-Addo had any respect for the people of this country, if he had respect for the promises he made in the run-up to the 2016-2020 election on corruption, on the basis of which he was elected, and he was interested in keeping faith with the people of this country, he would not have waited a day. He would not have delayed even for a day in publishing this report after it was presented to him. He's not the first president we've had in this country. His immediate, predecessor, President Mahama, in the wake of the JIDA investigations, published the investigative report into that scandal immediately the report was made available to him. Because he had nothing to hide. His hands were clean. He was genuinely interested in unearthing the truth and in punishing those who were culpable in the JIDA scandal. And he did so over and over again in many other scandals that were investigated under his government. Now you have this president who rode on the back of an anti-corruption campaign into office on a promise to protect the public purse. He said he was too old to steal our money. He will not be corrupt. He will fight corruption and so on. He comes into office. There is a major scandal put out by an investigative media body. He directs KPMG to investigate the matter, pays them with our taxes. The report is submitted to him. He takes all the time in the world to study the report and to make consequential decisions. And even after making the decision, he refuses to publish the report. And even when the report is requested for under law, the right to information law, he comes up with a cock and bull story, flimsy excuses as to why he cannot publish the report. Look, this can only come from a government which is inherently corrupt and is not interested in fighting corruption, as we all know. And I want to salute the Media Foundation for West Africa, Fourth Estate Manasseh Azuri, Suleiman Abrahima, and all those who have been instrumental in this advocacy. I salute the media, including your good self, Dr. ABBEY. I salute Samson Ladi, Ayenene, Alfredo Kanse, all the media men who have spoken up against this attempt by the president, to conceal the serious crimes that have been committed against the state in this stinking SML scandal. I salute the media, I salute civil society, and I salute the NDC Minority Caucus, and all of us who have been part of this advocacy. Clearly, he could not stand the pressure, and that is why he has grudgingly, reluctantly published this report. But better late than never. Let's go into the report. Doc, I told you that what is in this report, per my preliminary studies, is worse, far, far worse than what the president put out. Why do I say so? Initially, the president told us that 3 agreements were signed with SML. And we were all under the impression that the number of agreements that were signed between the GRA and SML were 3. First was the transaction audit agreements after they took over from West Blue, And the second one we were told of in that publication from the presidency was the external price verification agreement. And then later on, we were told about the downstream petroleum audit agreement. But if you read page 14 to 15 of the KPMG report that has been published, you would realize that the agreements were 6. And that indeed, none of the agreements conformed to the law. All the agreements violently violated the laws of this country, specifically the Public Procurement Act, the GRA Act, and the Public Financial Management Act, in the sense that none of the agreements went through the lay-down procurement process. All those contracts were given to SML through sole sourcing. When such request had been refused by PPA on grounds that SML had no experience or expertise in that area, we were right all along when we said that SML was a mushroom company. They had no experience or track record in the area of revenue assurance. This report shows that the PPA agreed with us, for which reason they refused all the requests by the GRA to engage this company through sole sourcing on several occasions. And that none of the agreements were approved by the PPA. Well, later they were ratified. But more importantly, none of the agreements received parliamentary approval as required by Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016. Also, none were considered and approved by the board of GRA as required by the governing law of GRA. All that has been confirmed. But the addition is the fact that the contracts were 6. So let me just take you to page 14. This is what it says. It says that Act 663, which is the procurement law, as amended, provides that a procurement entity may, under specified conditions, procure contracts for goods and services under a single source arrangement. The Act further provides that a single source arrangement must receive prior approval from the PPA. GRA on 3 separate occasions sought PPA approval to contract the then SMEL. We thought they were SML, but not knowing they were SMEL, using the single source method, specifically on 16 June 2017, 1st August 2017, and 14th September 2017. Now bear in mind that the company was formed on Valentine's Day 2017, the first Valentine after MPP won power. So 14th February 2017 was when they were incorporated. And by June, government was seeking to engage them through sole sourcing when they had no customer. And they had no experience in the area of revenue assurance. They did the same in August. They did the same in September. Now, PPA declined all the 3 separate requests on the grounds of SML's lack of capacity, underlying lack of capacity, and prior experience, lack of prior experience, underline that too, in providing the subject matter services. SMEL changed its name to SML on 2nd November 2017. You see the fraudulent behavior. So that the PPA will not know that they are the same company who had been refused sole source contracts by the authority. They now transmogrify from SMEL to SML and are now surreptitiously, through the back door, giving 6 contracts. It's all here. 6 contracts. The page 14 goes on to read, West Blue Ghana Limited, under a contract with GRA dated 4th August 2015, was providing technical services with respect to the implementation and support of the National Single Window Project. On 1st June 2018, SML was appointed a subcontractor to West Blue Ghana Limited, a then service provided to GRA to provide transaction order services for a 7-month period ending 31st December 2018. On 1st January 2019, GRA executed without PPA's approval an extended transaction order services agreement with SML, renewable on a monthly basis following the expiration of West Blue's contract and SML's subcontract agreement on 31st December 2018. GRA entered into 6 service agreements with SML. This was not in the publication from the presidency. Doc, you've seen that. 6 service agreements with SML, utilizing the single source method without obtaining from the PPA as outlined below. And they list all the 6 agreements with the dates. Now, What is important here is that the law, not just the PPA law, was breached, later to be ratified, but the Public Financial Management Act, which is our accounting law as a country, was flagrantly breached, and the GRA Act. And that can be found on page 15, paragraph 2.41. It says, evidently, GRA executed above contracts with SML in breach of the Act, C63, that's the Procurement Act as amended. Then he comes on to paragraph 2.4.2. No evidence of parliamentary approval for award of multi-year contracts. He says, Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, provides that an entity must seek ministerial and parliamentary approval when it is entering into an agreement with financial commitment that binds the government of Ghana for more than 1 year. The PFMA requires the manner of the parliamentary approval to follow compliance with Article 181 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, which sets out provisions of parliamentary approval for long-term loans. Article 181 says that agreements entered into under this article shall not come into operation unless it is approved by Parliament. The Consolidated Services Agreement, 3rd October 2019, measurement of downstream petroleum products, and addendum to measurement audits for downstream petroleum product agreements were executed between GRA and SML for a period of 5 years each. Same for the Revenue Assurance Agreement. So they go on to say that since the GRA was bound by this law, Section 33 of the PFMA, and they didn't seek parliamentary approval, the agreements never came into operation. What does that mean? What is the effect? Based on what the Supreme Court has said about Article 181 in the Isophoton case, the Waterville case, the Woyomi cases, and so on. The Supreme Court has said that you can't pay any contractor, any company whose agreement is supposed to be approved by Parliament, yet has not been approved by Parliament. The agreements are unlawful. You can't make any valid payments under them. So that's the first point. Number two, what is in the report is far worse than what the President told us because, look, the President told us that total payments to SML was 1 billion. Let me give you the figure. What the President told us. They said 1 billion and 65 million, something. There was a little over 1 billion. Now we are being told by KPMG in their reports on page 31 of the report, anybody with a report can look at page 31, the total payments to KPMG was 186,325,997.06. In cedis, it is 1,400,202,403 cedis, 56 pesos. So, in short, 1.4 billion. But the President told us that total payments to SML was 1,064,778 cedis. They understated it. Aside this, the details of this full report are far worse than what were contained in the publication from the presidency. Because in the report, we are told that not only were payments made to SML unlawful, unconstitutional, illegal, criminal, because they violated the Public Financial Management Act, the GRA Act, and so on. Not only that, but that in 8 months, a colossal payment was made to SML. And yet the company did not pay any tax on it. They didn't pay VAT. They didn't pay withholding tax. This company who has been all over the place calling people names.
But who is supposed to withhold the tax? Is it not a paying entity?
The paying entity?
Yes.
Okay, but,
so if I am,
but who is supposed to file the tax returns?
You know what I'm trying to tell you?
Mm-hmm.
If I am supposed to withhold tax from a provider and then remit same to the GRA, and I do not do so, the GRA will hold me responsible. The GRA will take me to court and prosecute me.
Yes.
The GRA itself enters into an agreement with the company and refuses to withhold the tax.
Yeah, I'm saying that. You're right on that.
You don't get the point I'm making.
It only shows the conspiracy between officialdom and the company to shortchange the state. It shows that government appointees were involved. That is what it shows. Because if they didn't have any interest, Why will you pay a company such a huge amount and refuse to deduct VAT, refuse to deduct withholding tax? You understand? So it shows complicity on the part of government officials who acted in the manner. But not just that, it also shows complicity on the part of the company. Because not only were the taxes not deducted, the report goes on to say, Randy, that the company did not file its annual tax returns at all. And I want to read to you the relevant portions. It says that, just one second, paragraph 2.63, 2.6.3. The title is Downstream Petroleum Measurement. I'm reading from the KPMG report so that everybody can appreciate the fact that these are facts. I'm not making them up. The title is No Deduction of VAT by GRA for an 8-month period on payments to SML. During the period from 1st September 2020 to 30th April 2021, a bulk payment to SML covering invoices for an 8-month period did not have VAT and withholding tax deductions, amounting to 13.38 million Ghana cedis. This contradicts GRA's standard practice of deducting such taxes published on August 2023. Additionally, SML failed, Doc, this is a point, to fulfill its statutory obligations by neither filing returns nor remitting these taxes to GRA. And when they added the interest on the tax liability, the interest alone was 18.5 million. And so today, SML owes us taxes of 31.88 million. Now, Doc, think about this. Everybody watching me, whether you are MPP or NDC is not the issue. Just think about this. This is a company that has been engaged to go and check companies in the downstream petroleum sector and also persons at the port who government suspects to be cheating the state in the payment of taxes. So they are more or less supposed to play the role of a tax master. Yet they themselves are not paying taxes. They themselves, who are paid a commission on the volumes they check, free money they are paid under unlawful contracts. They themselves are not paying taxes. I mean, how can anybody justify this, Doc? SML for no mujo, we have flow meters, magical meters. We are doing this because of us. The OMCs in the downstream petroleum sector are not paying taxes because of us. Ghana's tax revenue has gone up. They themselves are not paying taxes. I mean, incredible. And these are the people Richard Anyagba was defending here. These are the people. They were all over the place defending. 38 million cedis. That is some 380 billion OCDs. The poor man selling Kelewele pays tax. The Kayaye person pays tax. Those hawking on the streets in the sun pay tax. The teacher pays tax. The nurse pays tax. They are using our taxes to pay these people 1.4 billion cedis, equivalent to 14 trillion OCDs. Under illegal agreements, they've been paid. Pay tax out of that too, you won't pay. And people are justifying this. Doc, not just alone. I want to show you that the findings in the full report, by the time we are done reading this, if you don't take care, you will run mad. Because some of the things, KPMG actually stated in their report that with regards to the external price verification agreement, in a period of 4 years, from November 2019 to December 2023, SML was paid almost $16 million. What was that work? The work is basically to check if the prices people declare at the port are correct. So you are bringing in a TV set. You have to pay duty. The duty you pay is based on the price at which you bought that TV set. So SML's work is to go and do verification if the price you are quoting is correct. And they got $60 million, averagely $4 million per year. Now, KPMG says that they have checked similar contracts elsewhere, rendered by reputable companies. No one is paid like that. Do you know the way SML is paid? So whatever items they are checking, they are verifying. Okay? Whatever prices they verify, they are given a commission of 0.07. What be that? All they do is, I am checking if the price somebody has declared for an item is correct. So when they finish, government now asks all the prices together and give them 0.07% of it. Massa! They are giving a percentage of the things they are verifying. When KPMG says the best practice everywhere is that they are giving companies who perform such services are giving a fixed fee. And if you check the fees, government could have been getting this same service for $5,000. $5,000 per year. $5,000. Yet we're paying $4 million to SML because the payment was based on percentages instead of it being a fixed subscription fee. And I'm going to read that to you so that people again will know that I am not making it up. This is what it says. Benchmark of the pricing structure against industry practices. Against industry practices to determine reasonableness. External price verification is the process of validating the prices for goods, services, or assets. It's typically conducted by leveraging access to globally recognized standard databases. In assessing the reasonableness and fairness of the pricing structure reflected in the contracts with SML, we obtained independent data on leading practice firms offering similar services in other jurisdictions and benchmarked their pricing arrangements against SML structure under the external price verification contract. So you see what they did. Our observations are summarized below and overleaf. Comparators typically operate a subscription model with fees structured on an annual or monthly basis rather than as a fixed percentage of an overall transaction volume per month. That is as 0.07% on a monthly CIF value. The CIF you pay to at the ports, they get 0.07% of it because they are verifying prices. When KPMG is saying that everywhere in the world is a fixed monthly or annual fee. So the fee paid net of taxes under external price verification to the period 1st November 2019 to 31st December 2017 was 131.5 million cedis, a little over that, equivalent to $15.9 million, with an average of 300 and something. So they were getting $319,000 per month. $319,000 per month. You see, when the people I pity the most in all this are the MPP communicators and the serial callers and the social media activists. These monies are going to a company under illegal contracts based on no value for money. They don't give you some, yet they will expect you to defend them, and you spend your data to defend them on Facebook and the rest, insulting us. And some will come and sit on television stations and defend this. This is the verdict of KPMG, not Sami Jemfi.
Marcus, Adam Pais just sent me this. Says that, do you remember the amount of debt that forced the shutdown of the dialysis center at Kobubu? It says 4 million cedis. And
4 million
19
cedis.
people died. 4
million cedis. 19 people died. Because government owes the renal unit in Kolebu. They say they don't have money. And you've dashed 1.4 billion new cedis. In all cities, 14 trillion to a company under illegal contracts when the law says you can't make any payments to them. And say, Doc, it is not just SML matter. Over the week, you've been discussing with my good brother Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa on this platform the payments government continues to make for no work done. Corrupt payments. Yesterday on NDC 360, I was talking about a payment of $2.5 million to a Portuguese company called Motor Angel, who were awarded a contract to, extend the motorway. You recall that $570 million contract to Motor Angel in 2020. The company didn't even step there at the site. They've done no work, yet they've been given $2.5 million. It is contained on page 23 of the Auditor's General Report on the consolidated forex payments to the Bank of Ghana. It is there. We did a program on it yesterday. The SkyTrain scam, led by Bawumia, championed by Bawumia, they paid $2 million for nothing. They paid it to a company when the company didn't even have a license to run a SkyTrain. No feasibilities had been done, no cabinet approval, no parliamentary approval. And nothing is being done to retrieve that money. The Pualugu non-existent ghost dam in Bawumie's hometown, they paid $12 million for no work done. No work done, $12 million. And this is the money you are wasting. Look at this SML matter. It stinks to the high heavens. And they are selling hotels, left, right, center. So it's like they just came to loot the country. They came to destroy the country. They are not thinking about the future generation. They are not thinking about investing for the future generation. They are just thinking about what they can amass. That is why Kennedy Japan says the NPP is looting this country like there is no tomorrow. Kennedy Japan. And he knows them better than anybody. Now, let me conclude and give you one finding in the report that will also blow your mind. Do you know what we were discussing here and Richard was debating us? KPMG has settled it. You recall we were telling Richard and those defending SML that the reason for the increase in revenue in Ghana is not because of SML's work, but the increase in taxes. Do you know? Do you know that KPMG has confirmed it? Let me show you the relevant portion, page 158. And I am giving pages because it's a voluminous document so that people can easily verify and know that we are being factual. Let me quickly run through this. Page 158. Okay. Page 158, sure. Okay. Now, key observations. The following were observed from the analysis of the revenue collected by GRA over the period 2015 to 2023. Doc, are you listening? Yes. An incremental growth in revenue was observed from 2015 to 2023, except for a decline observed solely in 2017. One significant contributor to this growth was the increase in the number of taxes over the years. That is from 2 taxes in 2015 to 5 taxes in 2023. Another significant contributor to this growth is the increase in the tax rates. So not only the introduction of new taxes by this insensitive government on fuel, but also the increments in the tax rates in 2016, 2019, and 2021. For any petroleum, so that is it, it settles it. That increase in revenue that they claim is attributable to work done by SML. Here is the evidence. This is the verdict of KPMG. But with regards to SML's work and whether it impacted revenue, listen to the verdict of KPMG. Here again, we've been vindicated. Was it for any petroleum product lifted to be taxable, it must be declared in ICOMS, the system we already have at the port. GRA's records of petroleum volumes lifted, taxable and not taxable, are transmitted from MPA's ERDMS systems into ICOMS. You recall the analysis you did here on this subject. SML's flow meters reading are used for assurance purposes only. So when we said that for purposes of tax collection by the GRA and regulation by the MPA, SML system is not used or relied upon. We're right. Because they say that for every, let me repeat it, for any petroleum product lifted to be taxable, it must be declared in ICOMS. GRA's records of petroleum volumes lifted, taxable and non-taxable, are transmitted from MPA's ERDMS system into ICOMS. That is how they are able to know the volumes that taxes must be paid on and do the calculations.
That's what the customs officer said in the
documentary. Yes. So this is a superfluous thing, which is we don't even need. And then finally, the magical flow meters that they've been boasting about, that is what is doing the magic and leading to revenue. KPMG found page 129 and page 21. I don't know if I will have time to read that, but they found that the meters are not even working in many depots. The meters are not there. If I can see you want me to end, so I'll end. But if you come back, I can read out to you page 129, page 21. In 19 depots, there are no you can say magical SML flow meters there. They are not even working, according to this report. Right. Yet they are being paid for that. Okay. I mean, incredible. How can you people be so wicked?
So Richard, Manasseh Azriawini of the Fourth Estate, who did the report, has raised 13 preliminary points from the report, which were not captured by the presidency. And these are just the preliminary ones. I'm sure that by the close of day, they might find others. But 13 key things. And this is what Manasseh found. 13 as preliminary points. It says 1, SML changes name from SMEL after GRA failed to get approval from PPA, declined 3 separate requests to use single source method due to lack of capacity and prior experience in providing revenue assurance service. And it provides the page 14. Then it says 2, GRA entered into 6 service agreements with SML without PPA's approval following the expiration of West Blues contract and SML subcontract agreement. That's on page 14. 3, GRA did not institute monitoring and evaluation processes to assess the performance of the services, page 19. 4, SML delivered partially on the service requirements, page 19. 5, SML is measuring and monitoring petroleum liftings with the flow meters in 16 out of 26 depots per the data reviewed, and does not measure and monitor residual fuel oil because of its high temperature and viscosity, page 21. Key finding. So 16 out of 26 depots. And then RFO 0. 6, data from the SML meters are unreliable due to the presence of water in the pipes.
Yes.
That's also in the KPMG report. 7, GRA could not provide accurate and complete data to show there has been volume increment since SML started operating. 8, the analysis showed that the average growth rate for the period 2017 and 2019 pre-SML was 2%, compared with 4% for the period 2021 to 2023. That's the SML era. The factors that contribute to changes in the growth rate of petroleum liftings reported by MPA include crude oil prices, new OMCs, depots and retail outlets, and improved automated processes, and not only the operations of SML. That's on page 26. 9, inconsistent data and error reading data cannot get used to analyzing and concluding on the incremental volume as being routed by SML. 10, the significant growth in revenue from 2015 to 2023, except for 2017, can be attributed to the increase in the number of taxis during the period. There were 2 taxis in 2015, but increased to 5 as of 2023. 11, the increase in tax rates in 2016, 2019, and 2021 also contributed to the revenue growth in these years. 12, SML received 1.4 billion for its services instead of the 1 billion stated in President Akufo-Addo's earlier statement on the back of the KPMG report. And 13, SML owes GRA 31.88 million for non-payment of tax for 8 months of service rendered.
The West.
So these are the preliminary findings by Manasseh, Fourth Estate.
But we are all now
so
things
that upon a cursory look, that they found out in the full KPMG report, which were not highlighted in what the president told us.
Right. Yes. Well, first of all, let me make the point about the president's decision to ultimately release the report. The point has been made, and I think Sami repeated that in saying that the president issued it under duress, but that's not true. If you read the preliminary or let's say introductory comment of the KPMG report, it was expressed there to say that issuance of this document publicly requires KPMG's permission, express permission to do that, and so on the basis of that, President will have to actually obtain that, which was obtained, my understanding was just either this week or last week sometime. But quite apart from that, there's a restriction or a legal provision that Sami understands, or all of the people who are requesting the RTI at the time knows that prevents this information from being released, Section 5 of the RTI, that because this is a working document, It's a document that is prepared for the president for purposes of carrying on his work and in arriving at a certain decision. It's not a document that ordinarily should be put out and is protected by the law. That notwithstanding, from my understanding is that from day one, following the request for for the report to be released by the Media Foundation for West Africa, a decision was made to release it even before that this determination was made, except that they had to obtain KPMG's express permission to be able to put it out. So the point there that must be emphasized and clearly is to say that the President is committed to getting, transparency and putting the information out, except that he needed to go through a certain process which has culminated, and therefore the information is put out. You see, the SML GRA contract need to be understood in a certain light. A government takes office challenged with revenue and resources to run the country. An enterprise or an entrepreneur comes up with a thinking to say that this one way or the other can help you, okay? Close revenue leakages within the system, increase your tax revenue to GDP, and ensure that you have the resources to be able to run the country as a new government. And so that goes to the heart of, a company was created on Valentine or what. But you have an idea from a company that says that we can help assure revenue from all the streams that you get them from, that will plug the holes that causes your revenue to leak out. And I think that if you were the president or if you were the man in charge of the economy, Dr. Randy, I'm sure that you'll be amenable to an idea like that, to say that if we do A, B, C, D, we can increase revenue, or we can ensure that what you are supposed to get increases. So that is a brilliant idea, is an incontrovertible idea, it's a clear idea that, as I said, if you're president, you have to agree. If I am president, I'll have to agree, because why? You need revenue to run the country and manage the affairs, and for all it is worth, the promises that you have made to Ghanaians coming into office, you need resources to run that. So yes, SML comes to you and say, look, we can do A, B, C, D, and so therefore give us the occasion to be able to do that for you. You do that. Now, one thing that is often lost in this conversation is that, and I think I made a point here the last time, is that the contract is not a straight contract as you would have it that we know. It's a risk-reward contract. In other words, SML is taking the risk of investing in doing what it says it will do to result in revenue increases for the government. So that if you're a government, or if you are Metro TV and I come to you and say, look, you guys, you have potential to rake in more revenue from ads, except you are not looking at this ABCD. Or, let me not say anything to incriminate anybody, but there are people within your setup who would divert adverts coming here and take it to other places. But we know a way to be able to stop those people, or we can show you those people so that those adverts, instead of them being diverted to a different place, comes to you. But I won't take you any money. I would invest, make sure I catch those people, then you can give me a fraction of the revenue that comes from me stopping those people who are diverting your ads to different radio stations and TV stations. Your risk is zero. But what you are assured of is that ultimately, if I am able, indeed, my business case is reasonable, and I'm able to point out people in the organization who are leaking ads to go somewhere, and then I'm able to stop them, suddenly your revenue goes up, then you see that, this guy has worked, and so therefore I can give him what I agreed to give him at his own investment. So for me, is full advantage for revenue, and for him, his returns on him being able to plug out the holes that existed in my business. That is the model. That is the thinking. And I'm saying that we should have an objective conversation about, okay, so PPA refused approval for that because it was sole sourcing. And I'm saying that...
No, that was not the reason.
Sorry?
That was not the reason.
I'm saying that he refused because they wanted it to be competitive. They wanted a competitive bidding.
No. If you read the KPMG report...
I haven't read all the way through. But that may be one of the reasons.
Now, why I raised that is that the report has been published. And the reasons for the 3 refusal had to do with capacity and expertise, proven expertise and capacity.
No problem. That's actually even my point. No problem. That is actually even my point. That, okay, number one, you can understand. So I've approached you, Metro TV, to say that I have certain skill in plugging out people who are diverting ads, right? That is a business, it's an assurance approach that maybe you have not operated, right? It doesn't exist, but it's a proprietary knowledge that they have. How do you verify that?
Revenue assurance is not new.
No, I'm saying that, yes, in relation to the proposal they are making, that we're able to make sure that your liftings are properly documented. And so therefore you are able to get the commensurate taxes for all that were lifted, because there is the impression that some leakages exist. And you, as a business owner, you have that understanding. You think that there's probably something in the process, there's some leakages, because we know that those exist. So somebody comes with an ingenious idea to solve that, right? That idea, okay, well, the only way you can test it is if it has been implemented, right? But it hasn't been implemented in that particular space to be able to say that what is your capacity relative to that. But we who are proposing that idea, that you are mindful of, as a PPA, not to approve because you feel that it may portend risk for the state.
It's the law.
But I'm just saying, I agree.
The law gives you a guide.
But that's why it is going through, yes, I agree what you're saying. But it's not as if that this has not been done before. There has been an instance where, a new company without necessarily proving, expertise, but because of how peculiar the particular assignment is, they can be allowed to do it. Right? And on this case, the specific point I want to make to you is that the risk in entering into that contract is not for GRA or the state. The state is not going to suffer.
I'm trying to understand you, because we are dealing with a situation where the law provides for the opportunity to do what the GRA is doing with SML. The law provides for how it should be done. Does any objective reasoning or any
change that?
Change that.
Yeah. So
the law is clear.
No problem.
You see, as we were speaking, my mind went back to, and I can use that as an example because it's a case in court. The Opuni said we are going to go trial. Anytime I read the happenings in court, there are 2 things that stand out for me. One is that the process, the allegations, the process for the approval were shortened, were amended. I'm talking about the case of the prosecution.
Right.
Not to say that I agree or I disagree. That the process was shortened in order to get it done. And that too, that it was supposed to be powder and not liquid. Those are the 2 things that I see, 2 key things that I see in the whole thing. Now, all they are saying is that there's due process. The process and they've called a lot of witnesses just to take the trial through what the processes are in approving fertilizer. And to make the case that these are the processes. The processes were not exhausted. They were amended just to suit a particular company. And the court has spent years And witnesses have been called just to show that process for approval of fertilizer
must be adhered to.
Is this, and it was not done.
Okay.
And so that somebody was shown.
Fertilizer is
yes,
important or not?
Yes, it's not the issue. Whether fertilizer is needed for cocoa is not the issue. Whether cocoa yields dropped or didn't drop, it's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is that there's laid down procedure for doing something. The case of the prosecution is that it wasn't followed.
Yeah. So fine. That's a case in court that it'll be decided, not on this platform.
No, you don't get the point.
No, I get your point.
And my point is that the principle in the case
I get your point.
is that the law clearly states this. Of course, the defense is contesting it and also bringing witnesses to show that nothing was short-circuited and that the right thing was done.
Yeah.
And it is not true that it's liquid or whatever. But I'm saying that what is being pursued in court for almost 7 years is about the fact that due process was not followed.
Yeah. So I'm saying that the reason I say is a case in court, so they will resolve that. But the point I am making is that before us is a certain contract whose history suffered some PPA disapproval. And I'm saying that I can understand PPA's denial of that because the whole thing is new, you understand? So I understand that, and I see that. But the basis for the company also pursuing that, I can also understand, because they feel there's an ingenious thing that they have a certain capacity to be able to do, even though that capacity is not manifest for PPA to see. They think they can do it. And from the record, as we have seen, even from the same report, you see that KPMG concede that their participation has yielded some beneficial outcome for the state in terms of revenue to the tune of 2.45 billion. Okay, in terms of their engagement.
Which page is that?
Just read. If you read the president's report, even you see that in the, and then it's in the KPMG report. Where? That their participation has yielded that.
What I've read does not confirm what you're saying.
Okay, let me just finish. I can show you that. And that is in trying to increase the liftings in terms of liters had gone up by their participation by 1.7 billion liters. And that translates into revenue is about 2.45 billion.
You're saying later you show us where we can find this?
I can show you that.
Okay.
But you just address yourself to the president's earlier statement. But the point
the president's statement was supposed to have been
extracted from the
yes.
So now we have the
KPMG.
Yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying I don't have the exact page, but you can. But I'm referring to the president's statement that was brought, which was extracted from the KPMG report. But the point I want to make is that we need to understand two things. Those two things are, one, that the government at the time was in pursuit of revenue, and an idea to increase revenue was sold. And therefore, a decision was made for that to proceed, I think, through DRA, to proceed with that revenue assurance idea. But the presence of mind of the people who signed the contract, for me, is key to say that we are not going to bear any risk. But you take all the risk. And if that risk you are taking results in some outcome for us, then we will give you a commission on what had come in.
Richard,
and so that for me...
Richard, in public service,
yes,
in public service, the president swore an oath to respect and abide by the laws of Ghana.
Right.
All those who have been appointed into office, they swore that oath. This government,
I'm not getting the point you're making.
Yes, when I finish, you get me. This government has prosecuted and is prosecuting people in court for not following procurement provisions in the procurement law. There were board members of the NCA who were put on trial because the government's view is that in acquiring the Pegasus, it is a subcommittee of the board. That's the NCA that took the decision and not the board itself. So the issue of whether the Pegasus is important or not, the fact that the Pegasus is being in use and is used by government over the last 7.5 years, and the propriety and use of the Pegasus is neither here nor there. The fact that the law, in the view of government, is that you must follow A, B, C, D in doing this, and you didn't do that, it was sufficient enough to prosecute them and ask the court to send them to prison.
With the court,
that's one,
and send them to prison.
That's one. But some of them, some were acquitted along the line.
Let me make the point.
No. Let me just. I'm saying that was the thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this KPMG report, and for me, the front page of the Daily Graphic, for me, is a key thing. When it says that the KPMG reports has recommended an orderly resolution, a contract between Ghana Revenue Authority and a strategic whatever, including parliamentary approval. It says the contract did not receive parliamentary approval as required by Section 33 of the PFMA Act 921. Parliamentary approval should be sought to regularize the contract to meet the existing legal. This was missing in what the president published, what the president told us about the key findings and recommendations. This was missing. This was missing. And I do not see how the president can miss this. A key finding and a key recommendation in terms of even how to streamline the thing. First of all, the fact that there was this breach and that there was this requirement. And we are recommending that on the basis of that, do this.
How you can't even go back to Parliament
how we could even
when you have
miss,
already made payments.
How we could even miss this.
You can't go back to Parliament.
This key thing, which is captured by front page of the Daily Graphic, for me is the issue. So I hear you speaking about how important, how necessary, how it will help, and all those things. But the issue that Fourth Estate raised was that the procurement law was not followed. And the infractions occurred up to was not followed. That's their case. And the fact that some of the claims, the justification for the payments, could not be supported. They've spoken with officials of SEPS, MPA, and others. And on the basis of the information obtained from them, plus questions that were put to officials of SML themselves, which were all in the documentary, the justification for some of those payments could not be made. Has the KPMG report validated those claims in the thing or not?
Yes, absolutely.
For me, that's a key thing. I am looking at Fourth Estate having done some work. They have raised issues that these laws were breached. They have shown the laws that were breached. They've shown what happened and how they were, and they've shown how much was paid. The claims that were made for the basis of the payment. Why those claims cannot be true. Spoken to all sides of the issue. The president refers the thing to KPMG. KPMG presents a report to the president. Does the KPMG report validate the issues raised by
that's what he can
the Fourth Estate or not?
Richard can never.
As to whether, from a common sense point of view, you want to raise tax revenue, you want to do this, whether it is appropriate or not.
Yeah, but
in pursuing that, are you enjoined to follow the law?
Yes.
Did you follow the law?
That's the issue.
Are people in jail for not following the law? Are people being prosecuted for not following the law?
Yeah, so as we sit here this minute,
yes,
and in the process of time, right, following that initial 3 refusals by PPA, I think the SML was engaged as a subcontractor, then demonstrated the capacity for which PPA refused.
After it had become a
subcontractor.
It had become Paul after Saul, from SMEL to SML.
Well, that's an immaterial point.
No, it's material.
Okay, all right, that's material. Yeah, that's fine. But for me, I say immaterial because the substance of the case is that we don't know your capacity and whatnot.
No, it's material.
Okay, fine. It can be material. The name really go about, and that's really. But the people haven't changed anyway. The people who are fronting it and people who are behind it haven't changed in a sense.
I can own 5 companies.
Okay, but I'm just saying that. But I'm saying that changing from SMEL and SML, the people necessarily haven't changed. But the point that
the issue is that SMEL was denied a sole source contract.
It's okay. I agree. Let's not belabor that point. The point I am trying to make is that as we speak, following that, because of lack of capacity and rest of those matters, they now obtain a subcontract through West Blue. In a process of time, demonstrate capacity. PPA went and rectified.
No.
That contract was ratified.
We also short-circuiting the process. When the West Blue ended, the issue of subcontracting ended. But the GRA
continue to engage
them.
in 6 different contracts
without PPA approval.
So, but what I'm literally telling you is that contract,
those 6 contracts,
that initial contract that PPA did not carry through is ratified. Okay, so which is permissible,
including parliamentary approval, according to the
permissible under the Public Procurement Act.
Yeah, but not this. The KPMG report says that.
But I'm coming.
There should have been parliamentary approval in accordance with the PFM.
And an approval by the GRA board. We need that out.
Now,
you can ratify.
When I finish my submission, I would want us to ponder Article 181 relevant to what the KPMG has raised, that this necessarily have to go to Parliament. I have to obtain parliamentary approval.
My point is that
I just want us to ponder it.
No, my point is that it's a key finding and a key recommendation in the KPMG report. If the president disagreed with that in the point of law, the president could have made that point clear in the statement.
But the point is, so fine, that one we cannot debate that. But the point is that the president requested for a report, okay, an investigation by KPMG. He requested for it for purposes of carrying on his job, right? And so once he got a report, the aspect he felt was specific or relevant for public consumption. There's a public interest, which is the reason why
there's a public interest matter.
Yes, but
a media entity has done that expose. On the basis of that public interest
I don't disagree with
you. The president referred it.
I don't disagree with you. But I'm saying that the prerogative is the president's in terms of, even under RTI, that to release the report or not to. But he released or captured a portion of the report for public consumption, which was put out. Whichever aspect he left out from that is a matter of judgment that is the president's to make. Okay, we cannot by any malice try to now say that he did that because he didn't want anybody to see it. But he put out what he thought was relevant for the conversation going forward that he has done. I just want us to be clear that we cannot be trying to read meanings into the president's decision to put this out or not that and hold which one back. But he did release aspects of the information that he thought was useful and relevant for the conversation. Ultimately, he did that. And then now, as I know, that I've made clear on your platform, is that he'd always intended to release the full report, which he has done. But the point that we are making, I just want us to be clear in not putting these motives out there as if something was crafted to be done against the interest of the state. To the extent that we're saying that there are people behind it and all of that, I don't see that to be the case. What the issues were, right from the PPA approval stages, were designed by an entity to try and provide revenue.
Unfortunately, the persistence of the promoters of this particular transaction, irrespective of, you see, when you look at the architecture, the way the whole thing was structured, it's impossible or very difficult for you not to appreciate the fact that there was a certain motive.
People set out to steal.
There was a certain motive.
Yeah. So you see, the motive.
Persistence.
I agree with you when you say motive.
I thought we were about to learn.
The persistence, the flagrant abuse and disregard for the law and all that. The persistence.
I can see.
And you see that Richard doesn't comment on the law.
When
you talk about
he doesn't have a problem with it.
He will say, oh,
he doesn't disagree with that.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying.
But why don't you comment on it?
Just wait.
He doesn't disagree, so why should he comment?
The point.
So if you agree with something, you won't comment and say you agree.
So the point is that, you see, the point is that there is the law, okay? There's the law, and there's the governance, and there's the revenue aspect of the issue. That I'm saying that you can make the case for the persistence of the company to try and get this done by all means, because
not a company. The persistence is not for a company.
I'm just saying
because the company did not apply.
No, I'm just saying. Just allow me to finish. What I'm saying is that the company. I haven't finished. Yes. The company or GRA.
Yes.
To try and get this done.
Yes.
The motive there is the revenue motive.
How?
The revenue motive,
How?
Which then is
so they will deliberately breach the law.
No, they were not breaching the law.
No, a revenue.
No, they didn't breach the law. They made an application PPA refused it. They tried it. PPA refused. They tried. PPA refused. Then they went by way of subcontracting, which is fair, which is legitimate. They have done that.
Then when
so
the
where is the breach?
Ended, then
then they ratified it.
No.
In 2020,
no.
Well, I don't know that. I don't want to go into the detail, but what I want to tell you is that
your narration is wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no problem. But just indulge me that as we stand, even though you are saying my narration is wrong, the fact of
it's wrong on the basis of even the president's statement.
Just hold on. What I'm saying is that is it the case that as we speak, that contract, which PPA refused on 3 occasions, have been ratified?
You see,
the narration notwithstanding, I'm just saying that that contract has been ratified.
If I look at this,
as we speak
the contract
now,
did not receive parliamentary approval.
Yes.
As required by Section 33 of the Public Financial Management Act 2016, PFMA Act 921.
Yes.
Parliamentary approval should be sought.
I agree.
This has not been done.
No, but is it ratified? Now,
this has not been done.
But it's
you are confusing two things. Your question should be, Rich, let me help you. Your question should be, has it been ratified by the PPA?
Yes.
In 2023.
Has it received
parliamentary approval? Has it been ratified by Parliament? No. Has it been ratified by the GRA board? No.
So
that is what Dr. Abbey is telling you.
No, that's not what he's talking about.
That's what I'm telling you.
The point I am making to you is relative to PPA, and I keep telling you PPA denied it for 3 times.
Yes.
And then now, as we speak, PPA had ratified that document. The parliamentary issue, I told you that when I finish, I want us to ponder Article 181. I told you that.
Which
right?
is what?
Yes. Which is what is in question in relation to parliamentary approval. So I'm just saying to you that.
No, KPMG did not refer to 181.
Well,
they are referring to Section 33 of
the PFMA Act.
Which
but I'm saying that it ties
based on 181.
The law is based on 181. That's why I'm just going to the parent law to deal with it. So I'm saying to you that the motive you are trying to read into that.
Yes.
The motive is revenue. And the refusal, the initial refusals, have been rectified.
Okay.
And so going forward, that contract is germane. It's contract that has been recognized in law because the Public Procurement Act recognized that ratification, and once it's done, it regularizes it. So that is done, right? So if we move away from the motive and we substitute our own motive of criminality in relation to the persistence, then you can arrive at the conversation Sami is having to say, oh, something is being done to hurt the interests of the state. But if you properly situate the motive to mean that this is a government or a revenue authority that is seeking to maximize revenue for the state, then you can understand why they will take advantage of every opportunity. Let me just finish. They will take advantage of every available. They will take advantage of every opportunity to try and maximize revenue. That for me is what is key. So the difference in my view and in Sami's view in analyzing this is to say that something is being done that is criminal. But I see it, which is the motive, is that something is being done to try and maximize government revenue from a sector that has massive leakage.
So that although they have their meters at 16 out of the 26 depots, they are credited with whatever has happened at the 26 depots and paid on the basis of that. That's what the report says.
Yeah, but so the point you're making, I think I get you. But what I'm trying to say is that, did SML result in some benefit for the state? The answer to that is yes.
It's not about some.
Yes.
They have been paid monies on the basis of the omnibus revenue of the GRA. The audit shows that even with their so-called meters or whatever, they were present at 16 out of the 26. So 10 of the 26, which form the basis for the revenue, they were not present. Their meters were not present there. Yet, the monies that they were due was calculated on the basis of the
total return. Of course, that I will see to add. I'm not seized with that fact. My understanding is that they would have been paid for the volumes that their intervention
maybe spend this weekend in reading.
No, but I'm talking on that specific point. That specific point.
Okay.
Just in 2 minutes, we have to go. I need to do this.
First of all, Rich must understand that when we are talking about crime, motive is irrelevant. Improving crime, there are two things, the mens rea and the actus reus. The mens rea, which is a mental element, is deduced objectively, not subjectively. You can't say that in my mind, this was my motive. We will discern your intention from your actions. So for example, if your intention was to increase government revenue, then why didn't you go to the GRA board to discuss the contract and approve it in a transparent manner? If you did that, it will show that your intentions were right. If you did it in secret, it means that your intentions were not right. Why won't you take the agreement to the people's representatives in parliament to consider and approve it if there was nothing wrong, if you had nothing to hide? So that motive, which the right thing is mens rea, will be deduced from your conduct and not what you claim was in your head. Right. That's number one. Number two, Doc, when an agreement is supposed to be approved by Parliament and prior approval is not given, the Supreme Court has pronounced on it over and over again. I have given you the cases, Waterville, Isophoton, Balkan Energy, Woyome. The Supreme Court says if the agreement is not approved by Parliament, it is void ab initio. It never existed. It never came into operation. Any money you pay under it is a crime. It's unconstitutional and must be retrieved. So it is not about what you think. It's like saying that my child is hungry. My child must eat. My motive is right. So I will go to somebody's shop and steal food for my child because my motive is right. Yes, you have a good motive to feed your child who is hungry. But you do so lawfully. You go and buy the food or you go and beg somebody for food or money. You don't go and steal. That is the point here. We know, according to KPMG,
finally,
that the company has refused to pay tax to the state worth 38 million cedis. Is that right or not? Have you don't want to comment on it? I mean, you see no evil.
I mean, the GRA itself.
When it comes to SML,
you are paying people and you don't take withholding tax.
Yeah.
You are, if I do that, you will send me. You send me to court.
And the company which is supposed to be a tax master, checking others and ensuring that they pay taxes, refuses to file their tax returns.
Yes.
And you are here, you are defending this. Talking about motive.
This is something that you can raise for the GRA to come and answer for, because they will have to withhold the tax.
And let me settle this in 1 minute before we go. Yeah. This whole claim by Richard that the agreement is not a normal agreement. It's structured in such a way that the company takes a risk. And if through their risk, they are able to help the state get revenue, they are paid a percentage on that revenue. It's not true.
Why?
The price verification contract, as I read to you, is not about any risk taking and being paid a percentage on revenue that comes in. Price verification, as I read to you, if you have time, I can read it to you again, is simply validating prices based on a standard global database. So in verifying the prices, they are not paid based on revenue that they are paid on the gross CIF.
I'm not referring to price verification. I'm referring to the audit, the downstream. But no.
But all those are contracts.
But I'm speaking investment in infrastructure and people.
No, I'm just talking about the downstream lifting verification, which that's just all I'm talking about.
I will also show you that also is not a risk.
That contract.
I will show you that also is not a risk.
No, but the contract is the contract expressly is a risk reward contract.
It's just a cliche. It's not true. On the
but
price
that's the wording of the contract.
It's not about words.
It's the wording of the contract.
Meaning. So you are focusing on nomenclature, semantics. I'm following on substance, not form. Listen, I'm telling you that the external price verification.
I haven't spoken about that.
I told you that what
I haven't spoken about price. You don't have to talk about. Don't link it to what I have said.
You sat here and said they get paid based on the risk they take.
Yes, because I'm talking about the audit. I'm talking about specific aspect of it, which was what the report was commissioned to do.
Hold on. They are using a standard global database as it's done
That's
elsewhere
not what I've been
to
spoken
verify
about.
or validate prices.
So we haven't spoken about that.
KPMG says you can get with a monthly subscription. Bryce Simmons has published it, Atlas, of $5,000 per year.
I haven't spoken about that.
You have chosen to pay them 0.07% of CIF, the entire value, not what they are even bringing in. Not that we caught this person trying to defraud the state. So give us a percentage on that one. They are giving 0.07% of the entire CIF. How is this risk-based? The downstream thing you're talking about.
I'm referring to, please.
Let's go to what
you're referring to. That's not the contract I'm talking about.
What you are referring to, what have they done? They have installed flow meters
at their cost.
At their cost.
Yes.
Contractor Ben Amman Eduma for the Sikane. Every contractor
and the
makes investments. Every contractor
of the
spends
contract
money to be paid later.
So
yeah.
So you invest all of that.
Hold on.
If it doesn't result in any revenue return for the state, you don't get anything.
It's not true. Either than that, why is KPMG telling us that?
I wish I had a
they
contract.
Don't have flow meters at about 10 depots, yet they are being paid for it. And even where they have their flow meters, like you read, some of their lines are blocked with water, yet they are being paid for it. The revenue that has gone up, and they are being paid on that increased revenue. KPMG says the revenue has gone up because you increased taxes on petroleum products from 2 to 5. And you have increased petroleum tax rates. So by increasing taxes, revenue has gone up. Yet you are paying SML for that revenue which has gone up through no work of GS, but as a result of the introduction of new taxes and increased tax rates. I've read it to you. So what are you talking about here? This is your analysis of risk.
So to be very clear, I have not spoken about a price verification or whatnot. I spoke specifically about the downstream liftings. And where in the report where it talks about it, if you see that you have the President's report on page 2.5, it talks about the reward or the benefit that has accrued. That has resulted in about 1.7 billion liters.
That was a lie told by the president.
Please. But that is from the KPMG report.
It is not there. It is. You told us that you will show us where it is. Show us every time. President Mahamad's office. Wait. You told us that you will bring the document.
I said he hasn't
seen the
KPMG.
But it's in the president's report. That's what I told you.
It is also in the KPMG report, but he doesn't recollect the page. He said it here. Tell us the page. You are found of. I will go and check and come and tell you. I will go and check and come and tell us. Page number.
So
everything I've told you, I've given you the page numbers.
That's okay.
Give us the page number.
The point I am trying to make to you is that KPMG makes an admission that their services has resulted in some returns for the state.
What page of the report?
Let me refer you to the president's statement.
A political statement. When we now have the report,
okay.
When President Akufo-Addo even lied about the total payment made to the company, he said there's 1 billion. KPMG is saying 1.4 billion cedis in their report.
Just hold on. You are fond of doing this thing too, Masami. It's in point 5.
But Richard, if we have the KPMG,
why are you reading
President? Why will we rely on
the CEO of KPMG?
On the president's statement?
Political statement.
When we are talking about something contained in the
report.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. The only thing is that I don't have the exact page in the KPMG report.
So when you get the exact page,
but I didn't know. Hold on. You know for sure that when we're coming to this program, we didn't know this was what we're going to discuss.
We didn't know.
So I don't know. Maybe if you know, I don't know.
And you give us topics before you come in.
Yes.
No, but
our experience is no.
It's making a valid point. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
But why did he tell us initially that he had it?
But I told you in reference to the president's statement. That's what I said.
I have read it.
You need to control something from making the point. But I think I should make the point. I think I need to make the point. So the president's statement, which was issued in reference to KPMG, talked about regarding the downstream petroleum audit services, and this is what I've been speaking about all along.
There is no risk
and the president's reference. Please,
to go and pay their tax to the state.
So
as
for that matter, I won't disagree. They must pay tax. They must pay. But it says that regarding the downstream petroleum audit services, KPMG determined that there was an incremental volume of 1.7 billion.
That's Akufo-Addo. Where is it in
but
the
he just
report?
referenced KPMG. There was an incremental volume of 1.7 billion liters and an incremental tax revenue of 2.45 billion for the period under review.
The gospel according to Akufo-Addo.
But he referenced some of these things. We've got to be serious. When he makes the statement, he says that
I have an announcement.
KPMG determined. Okay, and I'm shocked that
the
somebody will sit here today
in the statement which have been established to be false.
It's not true. It's not true.
The point
I want to make is
the
that
report says
let's not at any point encourage what Sami is doing.
What
to say that a statement from the office of the president, he can sit here in his suit and say that statement is false.
Richard, what are you talking about?
You understand?
So
when I am telling
you a statement,
that
and now
I think that it's a dangerous precedent, and he must be aware. He must be aware, like you always say. He must be aware that anybody can rubbish anything.
Richard, just hold.
But I have given you
anybody
just
can rubbish
clarify
anything.
one thing for me. One thing for me. In the president's statement that you have,
that you also have.
Yes. Did the president tell us that 1 billion cedis was the total payments to SML?
If you ask...
no, in that statement, was that 1 billion cedis?
I don't get the point of what you're saying.
You don't. This
No,
is
I'm just
English.
asking,
What is difficult
that in
about
the
this
president's
question?
statement? The amount quoted as payment to SML, was it 1 billion?
I'll answer your question, but I don't understand.
He's not speaking Chinese. You understand?
Okay, so all I'm trying to tell you, the point I'm just trying to tell you,
make your point.
No, on the basis of what you just said.
You don't understand this simple question.
The president's statement said 1 billion cedis payment. The KPMG report that the president released yesterday says 1.4 billion. They obviously.
So you're saying in essence that you don't believe what the president has put out.
I'm saying that the report the president
and I find that to be most unfortunate.
Richard,
so that
Richard, I'm just saying that the report that the president graciously released to us yesterday, KPMG says 1.4 billion. In the statement that the president released, where he told us about key findings and recommendations and his directives, it is 1 billion.
But why are we even discussing?
What
is the president's sacrosanct?
What explains
when John Mahama was president, did Richard say that everything President Mahama says is true?
No problem. I just want it to be on record. No, it's not even a double standard. I just want it to be on record that it is fair game to say that everything that the president...
I gave you basis. I gave you my source.
No, because what is the evidence he has to contradict the fact that
it was 1.4?
No, not that.
Billion,
KPMG says that their services has resulted into an increase in revenue.
I have a very big announcement to do.
Yeah, Doc, just 10 seconds. Yes. I beg you, Doc. Yes. And I'm doing this based on advice from my good friend Kofi Adole. There is somebody...
Kofi Adole in the UK.
Yes, there is somebody out there, an imposter, on Facebook, calls himself Sami Jenfi, uses a surname Genfi.
Yes.
It is not me. My Jenfi...
He has a huge following, eh?
He has even more following than me. And when I went under his page to say that the page was fake, he blocked me. And he has blocked everybody.
But he uses your picture, your wife.
And he has said, I'm not a marriage counselor. I want people to know that. Because I get messages a lot from people saying, oh, your message was romantic. I don't post my wife. I don't talk about marriage. You will see me post my wife only on her birthday. I don't talk about marriage. The guy, I know them. We've done investigations. We know the people. We've given them to the police. They say they need a court order. We are working on that. We've reported it to Facebook a number of times.
So I don't understand. Samy.
Yes.
And the Jenfi, he spells it as Genfi.
Broja Jenfi.
Yours is Gyamfi.
And he uses my picture, my wife's picture, and he's promising people Momo and all that. And he has hundreds of thousands of following. Okay. I have issued disclaimers upon disclaimers. But Kofi was telling me that, look, Sammy, a lot of people don't read these disclaimers. They watch you on Good Morning Ghana. So when you come, say it. Okay. This is what I'm telling you. If you are following the person thinking it's me, please unfollow the person. And I think this should settle it. Okay. Because one day you may be defrauded. Okay. I know the identities of the people. I know they are not up to good. Sometimes people do this just because they like you.
It's a case,
but if you see the kind of things they are doing, and I'm scared. One day he will go and make a very scandalous statement, and it will be taken as coming from Sami Jenfi, communication officer of the NDC. When it's not me.
You say you only post your wife's picture when?
Like that, he posted like 10 times a month.
You say you only post
on her birthdays. Okay. Aside that.
So this is the account.
This is the account.
This is the fake account.
Oh, this is just one. This is a new one. Oh.
So this is another fake one.
But there is a main one. He's blocked me so I can't see the page again. Okay. That new one, it is not this picture he's using. And please try and get it for me. Because that one, he has 150-something thousand followers. The last time I checked.
But you said you filed the case in court.
This one has 180,000 followers.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And people are still following him. And
thinking that you.
He is writing, telling national service personnel that they should not be living with their parents. They should go and rent houses. And I'm getting messages from national service personnel that why are you telling us to do this? And
why would Facebook not just block
their wives? And me too, I'm an amateur. I just got married. Okay. I don't have any experience like Dr. Abbey. And you have told me
no. How can you say you don't have experience like him?
Oh, but he's above all of us. He's the only one here when it comes to that.
The subject we were just discussing, but for Mr. Isi's position, I would have engaged him on that. I know he has expertise in petrochemicals too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Petrochemical law as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
But obviously, he wants to only talk about
Lithium.
Lithium. Today we're discussing
I thought lithium.
Let me commend him. I was in,
but today it's my wife's birthday.
Wow.
Yes. Today is that.
Well, you haven't posted it. You haven't posted it.
Have you posted her?
Have you posted it?
But
check my DP. Check my DP. You see that? That's the first thing I did at midnight.
Good.
Wow.
So today is my wife's birthday.
Well,
Fantastic.
very happy birthday to her. Very happy birthday to her.
She's such an affable person. When you meet her, there is always a warmth, you know, around her. Very nice person, down to earth. And you are blessed. Very beautiful. So, Madam, we wish you a happy birthday. May God give you long life with health, prosperity, and may you continue to support our brother and manage him. You know that sometimes he's a difficult man.
But let's know if there's a party. If there's a party.
Not that I'm aware of. We have a family ritual that will happen.
Okay.
Okay.
But as for the ones for third parties, I'm not aware.
Maybe when Mahama comes and the dollar drops from 15.3, we will consider
continue to live in your dream. But see, just because it's his time anyway, so let me just take the time to commend Mr. AC for the very beautiful regional office that they are building in Bole. I went there.
Do you have a proposal at the Minerals Commission?
Maybe I should, but I don't. Oh no, because I heard about it, and because I was in the region, I took the time to go and see it. A very beautiful edifice is put there, deserving structure for the region. I think that there's a lot of mining that is happening in the area, and to position it there, I think is
well.
Is very,
but I have something good to say about him too.
Maybe he has a proposal.
I like his constant engagement of the media.
Yes.
I think it's something that we need to see more from various state actors. What I think he should look at
is spending money and time.
On air.
And expertise to do that.
Yeah, and even though I know this may go beyond him and may fall at the doorstep of the politicians, they need to look at our water bodies. Okay. They need to.
All right. Okay.
They are not looking good at all.
So that will be, gentlemen, thanks for joining me. Up next, our conversation with the Minerals Commission.